following is an ESPN special presentation.
Draft intro.
It's been the wildest offseason in NFL history.
Lambeau Field is home to Reggie White now. The Packers have made him.
Lott is now a New York Jet. The 10-time Pro Bowl.
Joe Montana has agreed to contract terms with the KC Chiefs.
Today, the madness continues with the NFL Draft as teams zero in on a
It first.
pair of butt. Moving up with a bullet is Georgia's Garrison Hurst. We're talking football on the draft from New York City and points beyond on ESPN.
Very W draft intro.
Yes, we know it's late April, but it's football front and center at the 58th Annual Selection Meeting, as it is called properly, here at the Marriott Marquis in New York. Hello once again, everybody. I'm Chris Berman. So glad you could be with us for our 14th year of live coverage of the NFL Draft. We have never seen an offseason like this, and so therefore it follows that we may never see a draft like this. There's never been a shorter draft than this. This is only 8 rounds. There's never been a draft with as many picks in the first round as this one, 29. There has never been so little known
New England, I believe, had the
by
first pick
player
in this draft.
personnel, general managers, and coaches as there was for this draft. And unlike any other year, we are everywhere. We have 4 war room cams, and we are in 8 headquarters around the league. Starting off with the team that has the very first pick in Foxborough, Massachusetts, our compatriot, if you will pardon the pun, Tom Jackson. Good morning, Tom.
Yeah, Patriots had the first pick.
Chris, there's heavy speculation here in New England that Bill Parcells' first choice in the draft is going to be Drew Bledsoe. As soon as he makes that choice, we're going to have him right here. Now let's go to Fred Edelstein in Santa Clara.
Thanks, Tommy. It's been an historic week for the 49ers.
49ers
Joe Montana is
headquarters
gone.
here.
A new era begins. Because of the Montana trade, the 49ers have 2 number 1 picks. Right now, they're up in their offices burning up the phone lines, trying to wheel and deal. They're thinking defense, defense, defense. Now let's join Gary Danielson in Tempe.
All right, thanks,
There's the
Fred.
man
The story
himself,
here
Gary
for the
Danielson.
Cards is 3 picks in the top 32 selections.
Cardinals
They'd like to
headquarters.
get 3 starters, of course, that valuable 4th pick, and they'd love to take Garrison Hurst. We'll be inside the draft room with the draft cam, and we'll see him sweating up close and personal. Now down to Brad Nessler.
All right, Gare, Paul Gruber, offensive
All right,
tackle, is
Buccaneers
the Tampa Bay
headquarters.
Buccaneers' designated
Brad Nessler.
franchise player. The question is, will he still be a Buccaneer
Man,
when
they had a
Sam
lot
Weiss
of
makes his
coverage
choice in the
in
number
this
6
draft.
slot? Speculation, the Bucs may try to move up from that number 6 position, possibly go for Garrison Hurst. We've got draft room Cam in there, and Sam, with his 2nd season trying to rebuild the Buccaneers.
draft
Let's go to
room
Chris
Cam?
Mortensen now. Mort.
Thanks, Brad.
Chris
Well,
Mortensen,
Reggie White has
Eagles
gone to Philadelphia,
headquarters.
but the Eagles have the 13th and 24th picks of the first round. They'd like to move up to get a defensive lineman
This
to
was
replace
such a
White,
W draft.
and maybe even Texas
Legendary
A&M
draft.
safety Patrick Bates. Now let's go to Steve
I
Cited.
mean, there's like Hall of Famers like Willie Roaf,
Chris, a
Jerome
landmark day for the
Bettis.
Vikings. A first-round pick for the first time in 5 years,
So many good
plus
players.
4 selections in the first 79 picks overall. And yet another draft room cam will be here to capture all the hubbub
Oh,
and
and of course,
activity.
Drew Bledsoe.
Now let's go to Andrea Kramer.
Thanks a lot, Steve. No draft room cam, but player cam here in Atlanta, where we will meet a number of players getting ready for the biggest day of their athletic careers, including star Alabama
Andrea
defensive
Kramer.
end Eric Curry. Now let's head down to Irving, Texas, and Chris Myers.
The Cowboys, of course, drafting last in the first round. Dallas returns all of its starters from the Super Bowl championship team. They are expected to trade down out of the
There's
first
also
round
Chris
for a couple of
Myers.
second-round picks and look for depth. We'll keep an eye on it on Draft Room Cam. The birth of Draft Room Cam was right here in Dallas. Let's kick it back to New York and Chris Berman.
I mean, this was the 58th annual player selection meeting held by the league's 28 franchises.
And always good to see. If it's the draft, you know that it's the rebirth
Very W
of
draft
Mel
here.
Kiper Jr. and Joe Theismann. And
The Patriots in this draft, they were 2-14 last season. They were really like making to rebuild their team.
1-2. How 1-2?
Bledsoe would actually go on to throw for over 44,000 yards in a 14-year career, with 3 Pro Bowls, leading the Patriots to their first Super Bowl appearance in 1996. And then we know in the early 2000s, then Tom Brady after that Patriots dynasty.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's Drew Bledsoe. Throws the ball a little bit quicker.
With the second pick, the Seahawks actually took quarterback Rick Meyer from Notre Dame.
The knock on him has been he's not a very accurate passer. It's hard to evaluate because you haven't seen a lot of that on film.
The 1993 draft actually produced several Pro Bowl Hall of Famers and long-term impact players from this draft, which cemented its reputation as one of the more productive classes of the early 1990s.
And of course, selling tickets, you sell tickets when you win. I don't think Rick Meyer would determine that. Drew Bledsoe is a franchise quarterback. The Dallas Cowboys, when they started to rebuild, went for Troy.
Offensive tackle Willie Roaf in this draft, taken 8th by the New Orleans Saints, protected quarterbacks for 13 seasons and actually earned 7 Pro Bowls before his 2012 Hall of Fame enshrinement.
Set to go up to the podium and let the commissioner, Paul Tagliabue, kick off the 58th annual selection meeting.
The 1992 season going into this draft was actually concluded with the Dallas Cowboys defeating the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl.
Will be made by the New England Patriots.
Let's listen to see what the commissioner has to say about the draft.
So as they say, there's the foot into the ball, and it's traveling down to the goal line, and we're underway. The Patriots now, if you're just joining us for the first time here.
Also, the 1993 offseason was actually transformed by the introduction of unrestricted free agency under a new collective bargaining agreement ratified in 1993. And this allowed actually players with at least 5 years of service to negotiate with any team. And this fundamentally altered roster construction.
The Patriots select Drew Bledsoe, quarterback, Washington State University.
Now there's Drew Bledsoe, young man from
Drew
Washington
Bledsoe right
State.
there.
With the
next choice will be made by the Seattle Seahawks.
New England Patriot.
And we have with us here, as you see, Bledsoe. This is the new colors of the New England Patriots.
Oh, and it's the
number one. We don't know that he's going to wear number one. We do know that he's the first pick of the draft. He was 11 in college, so maybe we just add one on. And this is it. The official jersey of the Patriots with the logo, and Drew Bledsoe is now a member of the New England Patriots. Bill Parcells, what I started to say, guys, see, he's not a guy that has to win this year. He's going to be there 4 or 5 years.
Also, going into this draft, there's a lot of like free agent signings, like Joe Montana went from the 49ers over to the Chiefs. Reggie White went over from the Eagles to the Packers, and Ronnie Lott went from the 49ers over to the Jets. So it was like a lot of like the superstar players from like teams before. They're probably now going to like new teams throughout free agency with like the Cowboys dynasty getting underway during this time, which like just show like the start of a new era coming into the league.
Tommy Jackson is up in Foxborough right now, and with him is the man that made the selection, Bill Parcells. Tommy.
Also, this draft with like
Coach,
quarterbacks getting selected early,
that first choice that you
like
well, I'm feeling very good, Tom.
you can see that as like a reoccurrence in like past years, but like
going to be able to make
for like this time period,
to our team, and I think
it was like
eventually he'll be a guy that can
let's say
really do a
like
good job for us
not as often as today,
but I do
with like the quarterbacks getting selected early on. So the draft is definitely like very different at this time.
I don't think that kind of label is
and actually before this draft, like like many years before, it was like the USFL versus the NFL draft, and that history aspect of it was like the USFL, like NFL draft competing for players, with the USFL like paying higher prices for players. Then the NFL, they started to gain more traction and like cemented themselves as like the pro football
being able
league
to witness him
of the
do that
of like football,
effectively.
American
I think
football,
they're both
as the
very
NFL.
fine players. I think both of them are going to be very successful in their NFL careers, but our personal preference.
Oh, actually not free agency, but it was actually the Kansas City Chiefs traded for veteran quarterback Joe Montana in the San Francisco 49ers. And they actually sent over a first-round pick, the 25th overall pick for him, for the 36-year-old four-time Super Bowl champion, which was a huge trade. So not free agency, but as a trade, I mean.
They didn't really ever approach offset, and we thought the value that we had with Drew Bledsoe.
Coach, does this kid come in as your starter right now?
No, I don't think so. You know, I've never been a guy to try to throw anybody to the wolves, so...
Also, fun fact, the final selection, the 224th overall pick in the 1993 NFL draft, went to kicker Darren Alcorn from the University of Akron, and he was chosen by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And as the traditional Mr. Irrelevant, Alcorn received ceremonial recognition through Irrelevant Week events in Newport Beach, California, and which included a parade dinner and community honors to celebrate the last draftee, despite the title's humorous connotation, which just like showed that like just like being drafted was huge. But also you can be undrafted, you can really be a superstar. So
Seattle is now on the clock. If Bledsoe was there,
matters how you perform,
now all of a sudden with Meyer
and
there,
what you do once you get there.
They may take the full 15 minutes. While they think about it, why don't we think about Drew Bledsoe? Joe had a chance to spend some time with him.
Also on the Anchorage crew, the host was Chris Berman alongside analysts such as Mel Kiper Jr., drawing an audience that contributed to the network's strongest ratings for the event at its time. And this like cast of people announcing a draft are like a common theme throughout the drafts, as I like portrayed on my channel.
And athletic ability to make the most difficult of throws. He's able to back straight out, looking to his left, and make the strong, accurate pass to the right side of the field. Besides the arm, it requires great footwork. This ability I like.
And the draft structure at this time actually comprised of 8 rounds.
It's a 3-quarter style.
And there's also a temporary expansion from the prior 12-round format, allowing each of the league's 12 teams 1 pick per round in their assigned spots, unless altered by trades. And no teams elected to claim players in the supplemental draft that year. So all 224 selections occurred exclusively during the main event from April 25th to April 26th at this time.
Bledsoe also possesses great pocket presence.
Which the draft is actually still in April,
is collapsing his protection.
Which is crazy.
Drew is able to keep his concentration and find the receiver. A trait some current NFL quarterbacks do not possess. The other trait I love about him
player eligibility required prospects to be at least 3 years removed from high school graduation.
He has to be the leader. You know, he has to be the guy that, in a tough situation, that his teammates can look to and say, hey, you know, he's going to get the job done. If it's 2 minutes left and you're down by a touchdown, then you have to be able to come into the huddle and look at the quarterback and say, hey, he's going to get it done for us. He's going to win the game.
And by the 1990s, underclassmen from colleges could like petition to like go into the draft, remaining on their amateur status, and like try to get into the draft early on, going into the 1990s.
But now they have Drew Bledsoe. How does he really have to alter his game to fit Bill Parcells, or does he alter it?
I don't